This is how I learned how to strike the iron consistently as an amateur golfer. So one thing that I think that's super important about learning golf as an amateur golfer is understanding that you did not learn since you were little. So I used to be a professional badminton player and I struggle a lot with teaching beginners. Why? Because I haven't been a beginner for a very long time and I don't know how to teach adults who are beginners because I've never been an adult beginner myself. So that's why I think for learning golf, for a lot of you who start learning golf at an older age, sometimes learning from pros, they might not know the perfect thing to teach you. So me teaching you as an amateur golfer, I hope you can relate to some of the struggles I've been facing and use it in your game as well. So one of the things about starting golf as an adult is that you probably come from a lot of different backgrounds. Other sports, no sports, maybe you have other professions. For myself, I came up from a professional badminton background. What does this mean? It probably means that we're rewired to be right-handed dominant or whatever dominant your is. But for golf, it's a very different sport because golf, if you're right-handed dominant, you have to learn how to use your left hand. And this is one of my biggest struggles I had when learning how to golf. What happens when we use too much right hand in our swing? Well, it creates tension throughout our whole swing and it messes up our rotation and it'll look something like this. You see that you can still hit the ball okay, but when you're hitting the ball, you're not getting full releases onto the ball and generating all of that power effortlessly. And instead, you're just using pure grip power and trying to hit the ball. So the first thing I learned about golf, how to switch from your dominant hand to your non-dominant hand, is starting from your grip. So your grip, how you come in is you wrap it around, kind of similar to badminton. You come in like a handshake with your left hand. Now, one thing that's super important about the grip for a lot of you is probably on your dominant hand, you're just gonna hold it wherever feels the most comfortable. But this is wrong. Why? Because if you hold it where it feels comfortable, that means you're holding it where you can grip it very tightly. Now, this was a very difficult change for me to adjust to in the beginning, where I instead put my dominant hand overlapping on top of my left hand. Why is this good? Because this prevents me from gripping the grip very tightly. I can at maximum only grip 30% of the grip. Now this forces me to become very left hand dominant when hitting the shot. So I can't use my dominant hand and over tense. I'll show you an example of what this looks like. So left hand on, holding onto the grip firmly, and right hand just overlapping on top, making sure that we can't really generate power from our right hand or dominant hand. And what we're gonna feel like is just only using our left hand, we're gonna be hitting the ball. Now that we've learned how to switch our grip from our dominant hand to our non-dominant hand, one thing that's super important is that you guys think about swinging really hard onto the ball, but it's not necessary. This club is a very heavy club. If you just use your momentum on your non-dominant hand, came up and let it go through, you'd be able to hit the ball already. For example, that's really all you need to hit the ball. Now, I mishit that a little bit because I didn't have my right hand to support. I'm gonna do that exactly the same, using only my left hand and guiding it slightly with my right hand, and you'll see that it'll be hitting it out further than most of you hit it with your full strength. So just lightly up. And we're only using our left hand to come down and through. One thing you want to feel when doing this is because instead of swinging hard, we're relying on this rotational force of the club and the weight of the club. In order to do that, your swing has to be big enough, because if your swing was only halfway, then you don't have enough speed coming down. But if you're able to bring your arm all the way back, then you have all of this force just on the club coming down and letting you carry through. Now for me, this feeling is a little bit of an over-exaggerated feeling. I feel like as I'm bringing my arm up, I'm also extending as far back as I can while my club is facing down and just letting it down and coming through. one super important part I learned that keeps my swing consistent and generates power is the beginning of my downswing. Now, a lot of you might hear that we have this pump drill that we often do. Now, I like to do this pump drill, but I still like to keep it with my left hand dominant, meaning when I do this drill, I don't keep my hand on the grip yet. So I'll move my grip a little bit higher and I'll just feel like I'm pumping here. Now, having this and practicing this, make sure that I'm in the same spot coming down every time. Why this is also important is because this helps you accelerating your club when you come down. A lot of you might be accelerating your club with your hands too early, but because you have such a rotational force that's large on your movement, you want to make sure your arms come down first so that your whole body is able to come down and rotate through. So I'll show you what that looks like just with my arm coming down, and you see how much more speed it's able to generate. Now that we learned how to bring our arm down, this is the most important part of playing golf and your golf swing is contacting the ball. Now, how do we contact the ball? Well, there's two ways you can think of it. One way is if we wanted to have minimal force on the ball, if the ball was here, we would keep everything exactly straight and go through. But you see how slow our club swings through? So how do we generate speed onto contact? Well, that's what I like to always say as the trebuchet. It's a catapult cannon that has two parts. One is the throw and the other is the release. And it's same as for this sport. So this part is our throw down. And as we come down, we have to release. So this accelerates the beginning of our swing, and then our release carries through all that speed into the ball. So this part. One drill that I like to do is this L to L drill, which helps practice our release. So we start in our half swing, and then we finish in our half swing. This is what it looks like. You see in that L to L swing, I'm already hitting very similar distances to my full swing, 144 on my 8 iron. So that's where the speed is the most important, because speed onto contact point at the end of the day is what's going to be happening. Now, club face, I play more of a feel. If it's going right, probably your club face open. Going left, adjust it. Now, you want to put all of that together. And the most important thing and theme of this video, again, is that the most difficult part about going from other sports to this sport is learning to turn your dominant hand into your non-dominant hand. So remembering that we got to put our strength on our non-dominant hand, coming all the way back, downswinging and trebucheting onto the release and just letting it follow through. Now, there's a lot of technical things to master your swing, but I think these are the most important parts to start hitting your swing consistently. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure to check out Shake Cold Brew Tea, our beverage of choice for this channel, in our link down below. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.